Good morning, friends. Today in this lecture, we are going to learn a new topic of desired power plant layout and auxiliaries of diesel power plant. In this lecture, we are going to start a new chapter, Unit 2. See here, Unit 2 considers internal combustion and gas turbine power plants. In this chapter, the first topic which we are dealing is about diesel power plant. See, coming to the diesel power plant, the introduction of this diesel power plant is that the diesel engine power plants are installed very supply of coal and water is not available in sufficient quantity, or where power is to be generated in small quantity, or where standby sets are required for continuity of supplies, such as in hospitals, telephone exchanges, radio stations and cinemas. Means where we are using these diesel power plants, or where we are going to install these diesel power plants very much, means where coal and water is not available in sufficient quantity, where we did not have the availability of coal and water morely, there we are going to use these diesel power plants very much. And this can be used mostly in hospitals, telephone exchanges, radio stations, as well as in cinema halls for the generation of power. See here, this plant ranges from 2 to 50 megawatt capacity, are used as central stations for supply authorities. This is the range that how the diesel engines are in the range of 2 to 50 megawatt capacity. Here in several countries, the diesel power plants is increased for electric power generation. In previous years or long ago, these diesel power plants are rarely used in several countries. But nowadays, here the usage of diesel power plants is increased for electric power generation because of the difficulties which are experienced in construction of new hydraulic plants and enlargement of old hydro plants. See, some of the essential components of diesel power plant are that the components which are using for running of these diesel power plants are nothing but first one is the engine, the second one is fuel system, the third one is intake system, fourth one is exhaust system, fifth one is cooling system, sixth one is lubrication system, seventh one is starting and stopping system, eighth one is governing system, and ninth one is generator or eliminator. These are the 9 components which we are using for the working of this diesel power plant. By using of these 9 components, we are going to use the diesel power plants wherever it is required. See, coming to these 9 components, we are going to know these 9 in a detailed manner one by one. Coming to the engine, this is the main component of the power plant for generating the power, or for after combustioning has been takes place, what is the heat generated has been converted into the mechanical energy. What is the heat energy has developed or produced due to the combustion process. This heat energy is going to be converted into mechanical energy. See, the function of engine is to develop mechanical power for generator. See, at last, these by using of this diesel power plant, we are going to get power, mechanical power for the generator. See here, the diesel engines used for diesel power plants may be of 4-stroke or 2-stroke engines. See here, we are having 2-stroke and 4-stroke engines, which we have studied in the previous classes about the 4-strokes and 2-strokes engines, how how they are going to work. See here, in diesel engines, both the 4-stroke as well as 2-stroke engines are going to be used. Nowadays, high diesel oil price and hence high operating cost of 2-stroke engine is favored to use 4-stroke diesel engines for diesel electric power plants. See here, the diesel engines are available in size from 75 kilowatt to 40 megawatt. These are the sizes of the diesel engines, how they are making are for getting the power of 75 kilowatt to 40 megawatts. The size and number of engines depends upon plant capacity, purpose for which the plant is being set up, and the load characteristic. By using of the sizes and by using the number of engines, uh, and the number of engines depends upon the plant capacities, and by using of this load characteristics, these diesel engines are very mostly used here for generating the power. See, we can by observing the diagram of this diesel engine, how the fuel system is working in the diesel engine. See here, coming to here, this is the diesel engine. This is the first component of the diesel power plant. The first component which we are using here is the engine. We can observe the diagram how it is going to be. Since we are having here the diesel tank, from the diesel tank the diesel is going to be entered into the strainer. By using of this strainer, the diesel is going to be entered into the transfer pump. From transfer pump, the diesel is going to be transferred into this daily consumption tank. See here, the diesel from the diesel tank, see, the fuel may be supplied at plant site by truck, railroad, tank, or cars, etc. See, by using of these trucks, railroad, tank, or cars, by using of these, we are going to get diesel from various areas, and we are going to storage the diesel in this diesel tank. Whenever the diesel is going to be required, or whenever there is usage of this diesel, we are going to supply the diesel from diesel tank to the daily consumption tank by using of this strainer as well as transfer pump. See, the from the diesel tank, the diesel is going to pump by using of the strainer, and from the strainer it is going to move to transfer pump, and this transfer pump which is used to pump the diesel upon to the diesel consumption tank. See here, whenever excess diesel has been entered into the diesel consumption tank, it reverses the diesel again into the diesel tank. See, and the remaining diesel which has been collected in the diesel daily consumption tank is entered into the fuel filter. See here, in the fuel filter, the diesel is going to be filtered, means nothing but of in the diesel, what are the impurities or the mud particles which has been collected is removed by using of this fuel filter. And after filtration of this diesel, the diesel is going to be entered into the diesel tank. See here, this is what how it is going, the diesel is going to be entered into the diesel engine by using of this fuel injection pump. See here, once again I am going to explain you about this diagram, that see, the diesel which has been coming from various areas by using of trucks, railroad, tank and cars, by using of different vehicles, we are going to collect the diesel and different areas, and we are going to stock this diesel in the diesel tank. Whenever the diesel is required to generating the power we are going to use from this diesel tank. See, from this diesel tank we are going to collect into the daily consumption tank. For entering or for supplying to the daily consumption tank, we are using here the strainer as well as the transfer pump for sending the diesel from diesel tank to the daily consumption tank. When excess amount of diesel has been collected in the diesel daily consumption tank, it is going to be reversed. It is going to be reversed into the overflow. The overflow of the diesel is going to be reversed again into the diesel tank, and what is the required diesel is going to be taken into the fuel filter, and after removing the mud particles, the fuel is going to be entered into the diesel engine by using of this fuel injection pump. The fuel injection pump sprays the diesel into these cylinders on the diesel engine. This is what about the fuel system working, how it takes place here. We can observe, or we know, sir, that here we can observe that it consists of fuel storage tank. Here we can observe the fuel storage tank, daily consumption tank. We can observe here in the diagram daily consumption tank, fuel transfer pump. We are having here the fuel transfer pump. We are having the strainer here. We are having fuel filters and fuel injection pump. By using of all these, we are going to transfer the diesel from fuel diesel tank to the diesel engine. See here, the fuel oil may be supplied at plant site by truck, railroad, tank, cars, etc. By using of these vehicles, we are going to get the fuel from various areas. The function of fuel system. What is the functioning of this fuel system is to transfer fuel from storage tank to daily consumption tank. See, we are going to transfer the fuel from storage tank to the daily consumption tank, and after it is going to be, see here, to filter means after filtration, to increase pressure of fuel, we are going to increase the pressure of the fuel, to measure and control the fuel supply. See, and to inject and atomize means nothing but spray in form of small particles. Here we are using here the fuel injection pump. The fuel injection pump is atomized in the diesel engine, the fuel in the engine cylinders. See here, to inject means we are going to send this diesel upon to the engine cylinders, means how it is going to give the fuel inside the fuel engine in the engine cylinders means nothing but of in the atomization formation. Atomize means nothing but of spray in form of small particles. This is what about the fuel system which we can study here. And coming to the next one, we are taking intake. Intake means nothing but of what we are taking here as intake means we are using here the intake part or intake system as air into the diesel engine system or into the cylinder. See here, after taking the diesel into the diesel engine or upon to the cylinders, we required the air for complete combustion process. See here, by using what is the air we are getting from the atmosphere, the air is going to be entered into the diesel engine in up to the cylinders. See here, the air which is going to be entered into the diesel engine are having in the air we are having some dust particles, or this air is without filtration we are not getting, the air will not enters into this diesel engine. How? Because the power generation is will not get properly. For this, we are using here the air filter. After what is the air we are taking from the atmosphere, after filtration of this air, the air is going to be supplied into the diesel engine. See here, it consists of air supply pipe. See, we can observe here the air supply pipe, air filters, This is the air filter which is going to filter the air and removing the dust particles, and supercharge in a case of supercharge engine, and these air can be supercharged if it is required. The function of air intake system are, what is the function which we are why we are taking here the air means to clean air. For cleaning the air we are using here air filter. To supply air for supercharging in case of supercharge engine, in if we are having the supercharge engine, we are going to supply air for supercharging. And to reduce the noise of air intake, and to we are going to reduce the noise of air when we are taking upon to this diesel engine. This is what about the intake system. Intake means nothing but of what is the air which we are taking inside of the diesel engine for the combustion process. This is what about the intake system which we can observe here. And coming to the exhaust system. See, exhaust means, see what is the diesel which we have taken from diesel tank to up to the diesel engine or upon to the cylinder part for combustion process. By using of this fuel as well as air, we are going to burn the fuel here, and the combustion is going to be takes place. After combustion has been takes place inside the diesel engine, some hot gases are going to be developed, or some hot gases are going to be produced here. What are the hot gases which has been produced after the complete combustion? Then we are going to get some exhaust gases are going to be released. See, means in the diesel, when it is going to be enters into the diesel engine or upon to the cylinders, inside the diesel is in the form of chemical formation. See, when the combustion has been takes place, some reaction is going to takes place there, and this chemical reaction is going to be transfers into heat energy. See, when it is going to rise into the heat energy is going to release some exhaust gases, and these exhaust gases are entered into the atmosphere by using of this silencer. See, we are using the silencer in the bikes. We can observe in bikes or in some vehicles where we are using this silencer part for removing the exhaust gases. By using of this silencer, we are going to exhaust into the atmosphere. This is what the third one which we are using here. That first we are using the fuel, and the second we are using here the air. And after mixing of these both diesel and this air, we are going to make some combustion, and after combustioning process some exhaust gases are going to be developed, and the exhaust gases are going to be released into the exhaust into the atmosphere by using of this silencer. See, it consists of piping from engine to a point where exhaust gases may be discharged without danger or annoyance. See, without any danger, by using of this silencer, we are going to discharge the air into the atmosphere by using of this silencer. A silencer is usually incorporated in the system to reduce the noise level. See, if we are not using the silencer here for exhausting the gases, means the noises are going to be raised here in the engine part. So such that for removing the noise or for reducing the noise levels in this engine system, we are going to use the silencer here. By using of this silencer and for reducing of the noise level, we are using silencer here, and we are going to exhaust the exhaust gases by using of the silencer into the atmosphere. This is what about the exhaust system. And coming to the next one, we are studying about the cooling system. See here, from the diesel tank, by using of this strainer and by using of this transfer pump, we are going to pump the diesel into the diesel consumption tank. From the diesel consumption tanks, it is going to be entered into the fuel filter, and from the fuel filter it is going to be entered into the fuel injector, and the fuel injector is going to be injected or atomized into the diesel engine upon to the cylinders. where from the other side we are going to get the air into the diesel engine, and both are going to be mixed here, and some combustion has been takes place. And what are the exhaust gases developed there? These exhaust gases are uh, disappeared into the atmosphere by using of this silence. And uh, and some of the hot hot water from the jacket, and after combustion process we are having some hot gases are developed. The hot gases which are developed means the exhaust gas means nothing but of unwanted gases are disappeared into the atmosphere by using of the silencer. And what is the hot water we are generating here? The hot water from jacket means here the from the diesel tank we are getting some hot water. Hot water from the jacket is going to be entered into the surge tank. From the surge tank it is going to be entered into this heat into this heat exchanger by using of water pump. See, from such tank by using of this water pump the hot water is going to be entered here. And see here in the heat exchanger, the heat exchanger, the one end is connected to the this surge tank are by using of this water pump, and the other end is connected to the water cooling. See here the water cooling or oil cooler is connected, and the cold water is supplied. See here the cold water is supplied through this pump by using of this oil cooler. See here, and by using of this oil cooler the cold water is supplied to the jacket. See here we can observe here the exhaust gases are appears into the atmosphere by using of this silencer. After that the cold water, see here, this is the part which we are knowing now about the cold water. See here, first the cold water is going to be entered into this diesel engine to cool the combustion chamber. What are the hot gases generating at the combustion chamber? For cooling of this combustion chamber we are going to give the cold water to the jacket by using to the combustion chamber, where some hot, after cooling here in the engine system some hot gases are going to be developed. See, after combustioning process, when we are going to give cold water to the combustion, see, after cooling that it is going to exhaust some hot water. See here the hot water from jacket is enters into the surge tank, and from the surge tank it is going to be enters into the heat exchanger. See here the hot water is enters into the surge tank. From surge tank the hot water is going to be enters into the heat exchanger by using of water pump. And in this heat exchanger the hot water is going to be cooled, and the cooled water is sent to the sent by using of this oil cooler to the sent to the cold water to jacket to the diesel engine. And the other end of this heat exchanger is connected with the cooling tower which we are using here. From the cooling tower we are going to get water circulation. This is a water circulation pump, and the cool water from the cooling tower is going to be entered here into the heat exchanger. On the other end the by the heat exchanger, at the other end the cooling water cooled water enters here into the air cooler, and from the air cooler the cold water is going to be entered here. And the upon to the combustion chamber the cold water is taken, and here the hot gases are going to be generated. This is what about the this is known that the cooling tower which we are using for cooling purpose. See here the hot gases, see here when the circulating pump water cold water is given to this heat exchanger, see it releases the hot gases or the hot water. It reverts into the cooling tower, and the hot water is going to be entered into the cooling tower. And in the cooling tower it is going to be sprinkled or sprayed the hot water into this cooling tower. See, the air is going to be entered from the both sides, and what is the air which is enters into this cooling tower? The hot gases which are the hot water which is coming from the upward to downward direction, and the air which is moving in the upward direction, both these are mixed. These are going to mixed, and the air is going to take away the hot gases upon to the atmosphere here, and the cooling after the air is going to take the hot gases into the atmosphere. It releases the cold water at the bottom of the cooling tower, and the cooling tower is recirculated for the use of the combustion process. This is what about the cooling system which we are using in the diesel power plant. See, the function of cooling system is to provide a proper amount water circulation all around the engines to remove the part of heat from engine cylinder. See here, from the engine cylinder, for removing the hot heat, we are using this cooling system. See, from engine cylinder, keeping the low temperature at predefined level. The cooling system consists of water jacket, water pump, storage tank, cooling tower, raw water pump, and heat exchanger. Here, this is what how why we are using the cooling tower in diesel power plant, that to cool. See here, water circulation all around the engines to remove the part of heat, for removing the heat from the engine cylinder. From the engine cylinder, for removing the heat, we are using here the cooling system. This is what about the cooling system, how we are using here in the diesel power plants. See, coming to see, we have studied that how the diesel enters here into the daily consumption, and how it enters into the diesel engine, and how the air is going to be entered here, and after mixing, how the combustion has been takes place, and how the exhaust gases are generated here, and how the exhaust gases are atmosphere enters into the atmosphere, and after cooling, for cooling of these combustioning at the cylinder from cylinder engine. See here, the how the cold water is enters into the engine cylinder, and from the engine cylinder, what is the hot water released is enters into the surge tank. From the surge tank, how it is going to be enters into the heat exchanger, and how it is going to be cooled, and it is going to be recirculated here. And after that, by using of this cooling tower, we are going to get cold water, and this cold water is going to be exchange the cold water into after entering the cold water here into the heat exchanger. It is going to be cooled, and the hot water is going to take away into the cooling tower, and the cold water is again recirculated into the engine cylinder. This is what up to now what we have studied here. And here we are using the lubricating system in this diesel engine also. Why we are using here the lubrication system means, see, whenever the parts are going to be in contact with one another, there the temperature and pressure are going to be raised in the engine cylinder, and some wear and tear are going to be occurred in between the two parts when they are going to meet at a time, and the temperature and pressure are going to be raised. Since as we are using the cold water also, see, somewhat damage is going to be happened at the cylinder. For that, we are using the lubricating oil for such, for controlling such type of wear and tear resistance here. See here, the oil filter. See here, we are sending the oil here. Here we are sending the oil into the engine cylinder, upon to the engine cylinders for different components lubrication purpose. And after that, the oil is going to get back again with some hot gases See the here it enters with the coldness. The oil is enters into the engine cylinder with cold, and when it is going to return back, when the oil is going to return back from the engine cylinder, it is going to carry the hot oil back, and the hot oil which has been uh, taken from the engine cylinder. See, the return oil is of fully hot, and it is enters into the oil tank. From oil tank, by using of this oil pump, and by using of this oil filtration, it is going to be enters into the oil cooler, where this oil is going to be cold, and it is again circulated into the engine cylinder. This is what how the lubrication system is working here in this diesel engine cylinder. See here, first we are sending the oil with cold, and when the oil, after doing some work in the engine cylinder, the oil is going to return back. When the oil is going to be returned, some hot gases, or the oil with hot water is going to be back into the oil tank, and from the oil tank, it is going to be enters into the oil pump, and from the oil pump it enters into the oil filter for filtration purpose, and after that this oil is going to be enters into the oil cooler, and after cooling of this oil, again this oil is going to be sent back into the engine cylinder for the lubrication purpose, for doing the lubrication purpose in the engine cylinder. Since we can study about this lubrication system, that it consists of lubricating oil, oil tank, pumps, filters, and lubricating oil cooler. The function of lubricating system is to provide a proper amount of oil to minimize friction and wear of the rubbing parts. See, when both the two parts are going to be in contact, or in the rubbing position, the wear and tear are going to be formed. For controlling of the wear and tear, we are using here the lubrication oil here. The oil cooler is installed in order to keep out the temperature of the lubricating oil low, in order to sustain the property of lubricating oil. See how we are using the lubricating oil for not getting the wear and tear inside the engine cylinder or diesel engine. This is what about the lubrication system, how we are using in the diesel engine in different power plants. Here, coming to the, this is what the full layout of the diesel power plant. See here, from the diesel tank, how the diesel is going to be enters into the daily consumption tank, and what is the overflow which is having again returns into the diesel tank. By using of this strainer and transfer pump, we are going to pump the oil into the daily consumption tank, and again from the daily consumption tank it enters into the fuel filter. From the fuel filter, it is going to be enters into this diesel engine. By using of this fuel injector, the fuel injector injects the fuel upon to the engine injector, and hence for combustion process we needs air here, and after getting the air, by using of this air filter, after filtration of the air is going to be enters into this engine cylinder, and the combustion has been takes place, and what are the hot gases generated or developed here is going to be exhausted into the atmosphere by using of the silencer, and the noise is going to be clarified. The noise is not get by using of this silencer, and the here we are using cold water is sent into the this engine cylinder for cooling purpose, and what are the hot water which has been came out from the engine cylinder are enters into the surge tank, and from the heat exchanger the cold water is going to be recirculated into the engine cylinder, and we here we are using the cooling tower for cooling purpose, for cooling the hot water or hot gases which has been came from the engine cylinder, and again this cold water is again circulated into the engine cylinder, and how we are going to use the lubrication system or lubrication part in the diesel power plant. See, coming to here, in the diesel power plant, we need the starting and stopping system also. See, starting and stopping means, see here, when we are going to start the engine, how we are going to start the vehicle, and how we are going to stop the vehicle. For stopping and for starting of the vehicle, how it is going to be worked in the diesel power plant, means, he since we can observe here that the starting system is used to rotate the engine. See here, we are having the starting air compressor. By compressing the air, we are going to get the pressure, and by using of this pressure air, the pressure air is sent into the engine system. Due to this pressure, the engine will automatically is going, the combustion is going to be takes place without any external agent, means such as in the petrol engines we are using spark ignitions, but in the diesel engines we are not using the spark ignitions. Automatically, by using of this air compressor, what is the pressure which we have produced or generated, by using of the pressure, this combustion is going to be takes place. By using of this combustion, it is going to be started, the vehicle is going to be started. See here, the starting system is used to rotate the engine initially while starting until firing starts and unit runs in its own proper. See here, the starting system is used to rotate the engine. See here, the starting system which we are sending the pressure by using of this, the starting system is used to rotate the engine initially while starting until firing starts. Until firing starts, it is going to rotate here, and unit runs in its own power. By using of this own power, it is going to rotate. See here, small diesel engine plants are usually started manually by handles. See, for different diesel engines, for small plants, by using of handles we are going to start the small diesel engines. But for larger capacity engines, the compressed air system, means here the compressed air, where how we are going to compress here the air system. See, the compress for large capacity engine, the compressed air system is mostly used for starting system. See, this is what how we are using the air compressor for compressing of the air and for getting the pressure, and the pressure which we are using here for starting of the vehicle or for starting of the engine. See, battery driven motors can also be used for starting the engine. The engine can be stopped by stopping fuel supply to the injection pump or stopping the action of injection pump. See, for stopping of the engine, if we stops the fuel injector, means when we are going to stop the diesel which is going to be enters into the fuel injector. So here the engine can be stopped, stopping fuel supply to, when we are going to stop the supply of fuel upon to the fuel injector, hence it automatically stops the engine without running of the engine. This is what about the starting and stopping system which we are using in the diesel power plant for running of this or starting of this stopping or starting of the diesel engine. This is what about the component, the air compressor, how we are using here in the diesel engine. See, this is the full layout about the diesel tank, diesel consumption tank, and air how we are using here, and the exhaust gases, how the air is going to be exhausted by using of the silencer, and to control the noise by using of the silencer, and what are the hot gases which has been generated is enters into the surge tank and into the heat exchanger by using of the cooling tower, how we are going to cool the hot gases, and by using of this lubrication, how the lubricating acts in between the two parts, and how the air, by using of air compressor, how we are going to start and stop the engine. See here, Here we are using the electrical generator. See, this is the last component which we are using in the diesel power plant, the electrical generator. The electrical generator means nothing but of what is the heat energy which is going to be converted into the mechanical energy. Means the function of generator or alternator is to convert the mechanical energy of engine into electrical energy. For converting the mechanical energy into electrical energy by using of this shaft. See, here we can observe the shaft which has been connected to the engine cylinder. See here the diesel engine which we are having here, the engine cylinder, to this engine cylinder by using of the shaft we are going to connect this electrical generator. Means the function of a generator, means the generator why we are using in diesel power plants means nothing but to convert mechanical energy into electrical energy by using of the shaft. When the shaft is going to rotate, the mechanical energy is going to be converted into the electrical energy. The generator shaft is coupled with engine shaft. See here, this is the engine shaft which we can observe here. This is the engine shaft and this is the electrical generator shaft. Both are going to be coupled here for converting the mechanical energy into electrical energy. See what are provided here. See this here, what are provided with the automatic voltage regulators to allow close voltage regulations and satisfactory parallel operations. How the electrical generator is going to be done here by using of this shaft is for generating or for converting the mechanical energy into electrical energy. At last, the electrical generator is going to generate the or to produce the electricity by using of this diesel in the power plants. How we are going to name this diesel power plant means, as we are using the diesel here in this power plant, we are naming this as a diesel power plant. This is what about the electrical generator, how it is going to convert the mechanical energy into electrical generator. This is what about the diesel power plant layout and the components which we have learned in this video. And about these advantages and disadvantages, and in the next video we are going to learn about the fuel supply system in the diesel power plant. This is what about how we were studying about the diesel power plant layout. Thank you. If you are having any doubts, please call to me or mail to the mail ID which has been given. Thank you.